Hey friends, today we're gonna play some 8-ball and you are gonna play with me. I'm going to narrate as I shoot, telling you what I'm shooting, what I'm thinking, what spin I'm using, what kind of stroke I'm using, where I'm looking at position, what I'm looking at for running out versus not running out, playing safety, trying not to lose the game. Essentially, I'm gonna show you what I would do in these situations to try and win every rack. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna run out every rack. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna play well every rack. I'm probably not gonna string these together. I'm gonna just pick out 10 racks that I like, that I thought taught a good lesson. I'm gonna do 5 with the head-on break first, then I'm gonna move over to the second ball break to give a little bit of different table layout. So let's get started. And I'm gonna start breaking these head-on. So I don't wanna really get into the break too much into these. I am breaking maybe, here's the center line. You can see where the cue ball is, so what, 1.5 cue balls or widths over, so a couple inches over. I am aiming low on the cue ball, and a lot of people think that I put draw on the cue ball. In fact, I'll stand over here and show my bridge. I'm aiming at this point on the cue ball, but when I step through, and I'll move over a little bit, when I step through to break, I'm coming in, I'm kind of standing up and coming at the same time. I'm trying to get a level cue. If anything, depending on how I'm hitting it, a touch below or a touch above center. I'm aiming the one ball head on. I'm not looking to cut it at all. I'm not looking to get the cue ball this way or that way, which does happen a lot. Trying to get the cue ball just to pop up in the air and squat right in the middle of the table. And power-wise, it's probably 70 to 80% of what my max power could be. Now when I hit a little bit below center, made a bunch of balls here. We'll leave the rack where it is. So now I'm looking at the table and I want to see what I want to take. Typically I will start with the 8-ball. What is surrounding the 8-ball? Are there, like if there was a ball here, here, and here, and here, I would try to take whatever's more around the 8-ball to get those out of the way so I'd have a shot at the 8-ball once I get to it. Next thing I look at are tied up balls or balls near a pocket. So for example, this 3-ball barely goes past the 14. I'd have to get pretty good on it, and I'd have to get a good line on it, and the 15 is kind of blocking the line I want to be on. Otherwise, solids look great here, but I may want to take stripes. Everything stripes goes. So what I'm going to probably do is take the 14, stop it right about here for the 15. I need to get, if we're drawing a pocket line, I want to stay on this side of the pocket line. So when I shoot the 15, I can come back out for either the 9 or the 10. So let's start with that, see how things go. That looks pretty good. So now on the 15, I have a couple choices here. The 10 is kind of probably the next worst ball, and I need to get, just gonna lay my cue on the table. I need to get to this side, to my left, your right, of this line to stay on the 10. Now, a lot of people ask what they do for what you do for key balls and what you do that. The 8 is right in the middle of the table and has a number of pockets to go in. I could get on the 8 from any one of these 5 balls down here. So I'm not as concerned about that. I'm more concerned about getting the problems out of the way. Now, if I was a little bit off on the 15, I could go forward, kind of aim for right about here for the 9 ball. But I'm gonna try to stay on this 10. And I'm just playing a center ball, kind of just a float forward shot. And I just barely got there. But I also had the 9 in case of emergency. It's not a great cut, it's a back cut. Cue ball is gonna be flying around, but in case I did not make the line on the 10, let's say the cue ball was here, I could easily take the 9. I'm gonna take the 10 here, I'm gonna float to the rail and out for either the 13 or the 11, whichever one I get better on. This one is gonna be straight top, maybe a hair of left spin, which is outside in my case. And I hit that to the other side of the pocket, which could have made that dangerous, but it did go. So now I'm gonna look at both the 13 and the 11. If I play the 13, the cue ball is coming this way. If I play the 11, the cue ball is coming this way. If the 11 goes past the 12 and 2, which it does comfortably, I'm gonna take the 13 first. I'm just gonna come out in line for the 11, and if I get straight on the 11, that's fine. Take my extension off here because of my friend the wall. And I'm gonna go right out to the rail, kind of aiming for the second diamond-ish. This is top with just a hair of left, which is inside spin. Now I can get this rack out of the way. Whoops, I moved the 11. Pay no attention to that, boys and girls. So the pattern is now going to be the 11, 12, 9, 8. Do have to watch the leave on the 9 to the 8 because there's only a couple pockets that does go in from the 9. Other thing I could do is try the 11 first and try to come up for the 9 and come back. That seems dangerous. So I'm just gonna play almost like a stop shot on this because I want to maintain an angle on the 12. And now here was always the kind of tricky ball to get on, which makes me believe I should have taken something else. I should have taken the 9 before all this. But here I am, and we have to adapt as we play. So how do we get on the 9? There is a gap between the 8 and the 4, but then I have no real way to get on the 8. If I could go into the 4, that would be perfect, but that's really dangerous because I can easily get on the back side of the 4. I can just come up one rail, kind of in this line. Maybe aim at the 8, because at that point I should not, as long as I don't get on the other side of the 8, on this side of the 8, I should be okay. This is going to be center ball with some right spin and kind of a stun. Now I have the toughest shot to get on the 8. How do I want to do this? And go around the 3. Just kind of looking at the angle on the 9. If I can get around the 3 without hitting it, some right spin. Should get me around the 3 and then come out this way, and I should have a line on the 8. Sounds good in theory. We'll see if it works in reality. Not bad. I probably misspoke earlier when I said the 8 can go in anywhere because I was looking at it from this angle and I wasn't realizing the 2 completely blocked that pocket. It also doesn't go in this side. I would have had to get somewhere in here, which is hard to get to on the 8, but as it is, I'm playing the 8 here. Now, as I say in all my videos, if you want to get better at the money ball, put the 8, 9, 10, whatever you're playing around where it's put in the rack. Now this is a little bit higher because it popped out. But play this shot from all over the table. There we have it. That's not a bad start. I did scramble a little bit, but rack 1 in the books. This is rack number 2. The break was pretty good. I hit it a little bit below center, so it came back. I want to try to get more of a pop. And it was a little off. You saw the cue ball come right to the rail and out. Fortunately, I did not scratch. Let's take a look at this rack. Again, we have 2 balls in the middle of the thing. Let's see if I can get this template out of the way. Kind of drives me nuts when I watch people just play around the template. And I do it sometimes, but it's just kind of annoying. All right, what do we got here? So first, we look at the 8-ball, and the ball's around the 8-ball. There's nothing really blocking getting to the 8-ball, so I can get to it from solids or stripes. And looking at it, everything goes. Now the 10 to the 11 is going to be a little tough. And pardon me while I exterminate my friend here. I don't know if I hit the 14 or not. If I did, that's okay, because it's my home table. Everything's open, no real problems here. So this is the kind of thing that I would definitely be looking to run out. But now I just have to figure which one is the best run out. Now, the easiest shot, the obvious shot is the 13, if I wanted to go for stripes. But I'm looking at this, if I go for the 4, I can come down here for the 7, get that out of the way right away. And then I think the 7 and 5 are easier than the 10 and 12 there. I mean, they're both right there, so it's kind of close, but I think getting on the 7 right now is easier than trying to find a ball to get on the 10 with, because I think I have to use the 9. And the 9, it goes in the side, so I could go for it right after the 13. And these are the kind of things I'm just kind of thinking out loud. These are the kind of things I think about when I'm playing. So let me just look at my line that I need to get. So I need to get a minimum of over the side pocket to get to the 7. Ideally, straight in, which would be 3rd diamond. Now, when I say 3rd diamond, I don't want to land on the rail on the 3rd diamond. I want to land on this line somewhere. So we're going to go for that. I don't know if I can hold it for that now that I look at the line. So I may be a little bit further than that. This is just half a tip above center, rolling ball. And that's going to be pretty good. I almost could take the 5 out of there first, but I don't think I can. No, I'm not going to do that. The nice thing about the 5 is that I don't have to take it right now. Like I could play the cue ball around out here and worry about the 5 later. Say I could get on the 2 and then take the 5 right from where the 2 is. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get out of here with the 7. I don't wanna try to hold, oh, you know what? The problem with trying to hold the 7 for the 5 is I'm probably gonna be right over the 10 ball. And then I'm over the 8 if I'm, moving the 8 here. I'm over the 8 bridging, and I already just showed you by my touching the ball there that that's probably not a good idea. So I'm gonna play this with top right, and I'm gonna come out 1, 2, past the 2 ball. The 2 ball does not go past the 14 up there, so I need to get past the 2 ball. Ideally for the 1, I kind of have the 6 as backup. Now remember, all the steps in the shooting system, and if you haven't seen that video, check the link above. Step into the shot, verify my aim, my practice strokes, pause, evaluate the tip position. I wonder if I'm on the 5 now. Not quite on the 5 because I want to get an angle that I can either draw straight back or I can come off around the 11. I don't want to be hitting into the 11 after I hit the 5. So look at other options. I have the 1 and the 6. Which one is better? The 1 kind of leads me into the 13. The 6 is a little straight, but I think I can bounce off and get to the 1. It's kind of evaluating which one's best now. Ideally, I'd want to be about straight in on the 1 because I don't want to be on this angle here where I'm going into the 14 because I need to get almost straight on the 2 after I play either of these balls. Let me reevaluate the 1 now. Kind of just, I think I can get past there. And the 6 to the 2 is easier. So I'm gonna play the 1. This is gonna be top left spin, which is inside. It'll cut the angle off, hit about center table on the center diamond, or on the top rail there, about center diamond. come out, and that's too far. I still have the 6, it's harder to get to the 2 now. So I may play, yep, this is what happens in pool. When you get a little offline, you're in trouble. You gotta adapt and overcome, improvise. Can I hit the 5 and miss the 11 coming out? I think I can, but this makes the 2 much harder, and now I have to get an angle like this on the 2 so I can float over for the 8. That is if I do 5, come around for the 6, and then go to the 2. The other issue is that if I go for 2 rails around, this 9 ball can be in the way of the line on the 6. So I'm gonna look taking the 6 instead. I think if I draw this, kind of a stun draw with inside, which is right spin in this case, I can pop the ball out over towards my left. Kind of like that. Now this is gonna be dangerous because I'm gonna hit the 12 off the 2, and well, you know what? I actually got a really good angle here. So what I'm gonna use is I'm gonna play the 2 in the corner, and I'm gonna use the 12 as a stopper. What I didn't want is, let's say the 12 was, I'm not gonna move it. Let's say it's here. It's really easy to hit the 2, hit the 12 and scratch, but I think I'm on an angle where I can hit the 12 full enough. And then because I'm stopping essentially right here, I have a really good leave on the 5 to get to the 8. It's gonna be, I mean, not a really good, but it's better than nothing. So this is gonna be just straight top. And this, I got a little funny on this. I need just a half a ball more. So now I'm wondering if I can cheat the pocket and slide over this way. How far do I need to get over to be able to play the 8 in the side? Even if I was here, I could pull it off. This is a feel shot. It's hard to explain what I do on these shots, but it's almost kind of like the 6 that I came out to the 2. It's a stun, a little bit inside to kind of cut the angle off, and I'm playing to this side of the pocket. So your standard pocket, these are 4.5 inch, just shy of 4.5 inch. Standard pocket can hold 2 balls. So I'm aiming for the extreme, my left side of the pocket. This is a really easy way to bobble a ball, but this is also a good way to get the cue ball to move over here. I don't think I got enough. I have a shot in the 8. All right, well this may teach us a good lesson. Because now I feel I have 2 games in a row where I've gotten sloppy on the positioning to the 8. This can hurt us. I don't think I can scratch in the side. I think the 12 is blocking. I can't scratch up there because of the 14, and there's no other pocket for the 8. So I'm gonna cut this in the side, and we're just gonna hope it goes in. Playing this with straight top. I don't wanna do anything fancy with spin or anything. I don't need to get the cue ball anywhere. I'll take it. 2 in a row, doing it the hard way. Let's go to rack 3. All right, this is rack 3, and I think based on breaking and running 2 in a row, I may just play any rack out the way it comes. I did not play those cleanly. I scrambled through the whole thing, but I think that's a good lesson in real life 8-ball, rather than a lot of these like edited YouTube videos. And I do not edit during a rack. I don't cut anything or redo anything. I shouldn't say I don't cut anything. Some of my shorts I've been cutting out just the space in between shots, but I do not take a ball back and edit it and shoot it until it's perfect. What you see on my channel is what I do. And that's why in my ghost videos, which I'll put a link up to those, I fast forward between racks instead of just cutting them out. So you see that they are a legitimate place. So this break, last time it went off this way, I have to be cautious of that. I tend to swerve my breaking. I don't know if you can see these marks on the table here. I was working on the 9-ball cup break. I tend to go a little bit to the left. A lot of players do. So I'm gonna try to avoid that and try to go straight forward. And I need to be lined up on the ball. So that was perfectly straight on, but no pop. It didn't feel right. I don't know if I stood up too soon or not soon enough or not at all. I kind of stand up on the break. Do not recommend that during shots, as I talked about in my shooting system video, but this is gonna happen a lot. You're gonna break dry, or your opponent's going to break dry, and you're gonna come to the table with this. Now this is a great spread. Everything is out in the open. There's no two balls touching. There's no balls really blocking pockets for other balls. So I should, and I put giant quotes around that, be able to find a way to get out of this rack. Let's just take a look. What do we have surrounding the 8? Really nothing, more stripes than anything. Once the 13 and the 11 are gone, I have 4 pockets for the 8 easily, and it does go up here depending on but the 4 and the 2 are gonna kind of block that way. So it looks like stripes is probably the way to go. Let's look at solids and see if we even have a shot first. Opening shot is not great for anything. The 12 seems like it's the obvious one, but the way the cue ball is right now, it's gonna go right into the 15. Unless I try to draw over in between the 15 and 2, and that's tough because I can overdo it and I can scratch, I can underdo it, I can get stuck behind here in a way that I don't want to have a shot out. But it doesn't look like I have a great starter on solids unless I go for the 1 to the 3. So let's evaluate that. 1 to the 3, I'm going to be coming about over here. Come back, take out the 6, 7. You know, I actually kind of like that. The issue is getting from or down to the 4 and the 2 in a way that I can make both. What I mean is if I'm like here on the 4, I'm gonna hit the 2. I need to be here or at an angle that I can shoot the 2, which is about here, which I don't know how I even get there. So we go from the 1 to the 3 to the 6 to the 7, and then down to the 4, 2, or to 5 first. So there's a problem with open racks, kind of overthinking things. My first gut reaction was to go for stripes, but now I'm looking at this 14, which doesn't look really great, but I can take it right now. Getting back for the 9 is tough. I think I've talked myself into going for solids. Now these are the kind of things, I'm doing this slowly on purpose, not to bore the hell out of you, but to kind of just say what goes through my mind when I'm shooting. These are the kind of things I think about. I don't look for what's the easiest shot and then just start shooting and going from there. So I'm gonna, a little bit of right, but mostly just top, and bounce it off the rail towards the 3. I want to angle on that 3 ball. There's ways out of it. I know all the ways out of when you leave yourself straight, but here is a much harder, it hurts your position windows because you then try to get too good and back, and you're a little bit off, and you're a little bit off, and you're a little bit off. Anyone that's played 8-ball knows what it's like. When you're off a little bit on your first angle, by the time you're on your 3rd or 4th shot, you're in trouble. So what I need to do is I need to get on this line, as close to this line as I can for the 6, because I want to be able to play the 6 up, probably the 5, then the 7, and then come down here so I don't have to go back for the 5. So I'm gonna play this with low left and kind of bounce it 1, 2, and out. And if I'm paying attention, I will put lines on the table as I edit this. Obviously can't put lines on the table now other than with my cue. And I hit that too hard. Or too much. Now, however, what I do not want to do is I do not want to take the 6 here. And a lot of you will get married to a pattern, as I call it, and because you wanted to stay on the 7, or you wanted to get on the 6, you still have a shot in the 6. You kind of feel like, oh, I got to take the 6 because that's where I wanted to go, and that's going to screw up my whole pattern. And I'm going to look stupid, and everyone's going to laugh at me. Can't think like that in pool. No one really is going to laugh at you. They're just watching your shots and waiting for their turn at the table, and you want to deny them of that. So I'm going to look at the 7 here, and I'm going to look to try to get in between the 7 and 8 on this line, try to get a good angle on the 4 that I can come over here to play the 2 over there. Does that make sense? Stun it straight down, get about here, and then I can just play the 4 forward, the 2, and then come back around probably 5, 6, 8 at that point. So this is going to be a very close bridge. Stun, maybe a hair of outside, which is right. Follow through the ball. I hit the 8 there, but that's okay. I just tagged it a little bit. Now I gotta watch out for here. This ball is heading this way. I do not want to hit it hard enough to come 1 rail in behind the 10. Now I could take the 5 then as my insurance ball, but I really don't want to do that. I want to get on the 2 next. Now I could take the 2 if I were left-handed, but being right-handed and bridging over this, even with the bridge or the extension, is just asking for failure because you're gonna either overcut this ball or overhit it, and instead of getting on the 4, it's gonna come way out. So this is just top, almost like a stun forward, and just float a little bit. Now I had the 5 if I needed it, but I have the 2 in a good position. Now what's next? If I can get back here, there's the game. The other thing I could try, and I know a lot of you are probably looking at this right now when you're playing, and in fact, you should be, imagine when you're watching this video, you are the, what am I trying to say? Your opponent. You're watching your opponent. I'm your opponent. Hi, nice to meet you. Sorry for beating your brains in. What? Just imagine that you're getting up and you're picturing what's going on the table. You're not only planning your run, you're kind of just gathering in information for what your opponent is doing and how maybe you can improve and get better yourself. I know a lot of people are probably thinking go straight up and down the table, like all the way out here for the 6 and then float forward to the 5. I don't have that much angle on the 2. In fact, now I'm looking at the 2 going here and here for the 5. It does not look easy because I think the 15 is in the way. So what are my options then? I can spin it out with right English 1, 2, and towards this line in between the 11 and 5, which seems narrow between 11 and 8, but it's pretty natural. Problem there is, let's say I get here. Now I have to navigate the 5 coming over between the 8 and the 11, 9 and the 14. Can't talk here. To get on the 6 on the side. It's a possibility. Now, if I had a 30-second shot clock, I would have taken one of these shots by now, but since I don't, and I'm just playing on feel, I don't think it's possible to get to the rail and out all the way down here. The angles, this is straight on, so I don't have that much angle to be able to do that. Now I'm looking again at popping this ball off the rail. I gotta miss the 15 and come out here. I don't know if that's possible. At some point you just gotta shoot. So let's reevaluate. What if I take the 5 now? And then I go to leave the 5 right, leave the cue ball, basically a stop shot on the 6. I could then draw over for the 2. And from the 2 to the 8, 8 goes up in the upper left corner. I kind of like that. It seems strange that I'm going for this away from this ball, but I have a feeling if I shoot this, it's not going to come out good for me. In fact, I'm going to call timeout here. I'm gonna put some stickers down. These are cool. I got these on Amazon. I don't know if you can see these. I don't know if the light's gonna let you see these, but these are, I think there's a name, the name Shark is in the name, and they are donut stickers, and they're colored for what ball is what. So I'm gonna put a donut here, a donut here, and I even have one for the 15, although it's brown here. And I'm gonna put one in the 15. And we will come back to this after whatever happens in this rack happens. So I'm gonna take the 5 for now, and we're gonna come back to the 2 after the rack's over, which may be right after this shot, we'll see. Now here I just wanna play a stop shot, but I wanna kinda get off the rail, so I need to kinda pound it into the rail. Kinda like that. I wanted to get more on it, but I think, well, this may terrify some of you. I have the angle to go, if we use Dr. Dave's little 30-degree peace sign, which I almost never do, I have the angle to go right through here, still get on the 2 over here and get back to the 8. Now, as I talked about my shooting system, I call this sighting the ball. Here, straight on is okay. And really any angle over here that I can make the 2 is gonna be fine because I can manipulate the cue ball for the 8. So this is just straight top. Side spin will not affect the path of this cue ball when there's no rails involved. And I did not hit that anywhere near hard enough, and now I'm in very big trouble. I have to make a trick shot here, both to make the 2 and to get on the 5. And to get on the 5 and to get on the 8. So I think I'm gonna have to use my extension, which is in my case. I'm gonna cut this to the left in the pocket in your lower right. I'm just gonna come 1, 2, either into the 13, around the 13, into the 8, something. I'm more worried about making this ball, and I'm just shooting straight top. And am I gonna have a shot in the 8? I am gonna get lucky. That was really, really, really lucky. I was thinking it might hit the 13. So now that I've made the trick shot and I have a leave on my 8 ball, my money ball here, I need to take my time, and not that I haven't taken my time. Now granted, you've seen me playing, you've seen the speed that I shoot at. I do not shoot this slow in real life because I'm not talking out loud. I'm being able to think the things that I'm thinking in my head, that I'm saying out loud, I'm able to think in my head much faster. And I'm able to be making much more decisions, or much faster decisions. What I'm trying to show is all of the options possible when you play a rack. But in this shot, I need to really bear down and make this. So in real life, I may just take a trip around the table, take some deep breaths, go back, get a sip of water, go out to my car, drive home, go to bed, and then come back and then shoot this with a clear mind. So I'm not gonna talk through this shot. I'm gonna just try to make this. This looks like an easy shot, but after everything going on, this is not very straightforward. It's gonna be just a straight top ball, and not that I'm putting force follow on it, I'm just playing straight top, natural roll of the cue ball. All right, well that did it. That was rack 3. That was not a break and run, but that would have been a take and run. You know what? What I forgot here is let's look at the, so what is our 5 ball? Somewhere around here. We'll leave these. I gotta put the 2 ball and the cue ball back. And the 8 was somewhere over here. What I wanted to see here, and then the 6 ball was in the middle. What I want to see here is if I get from the 2 to the 5 without hitting the 15 ball. So this shot is normally low outside, but I think the low is gonna cut it right into the 15. So I have to play this like, tip position is tough on this for me. It's a lot of right and maybe, I don't know, half a tip, quarter tip low, because it's all stun. Okay, so I could have done it. Well, I'm an idiot, so don't listen to anything I say. On to rack 4. All right, I'm just kidding. You can still listen to me. But I think that just that 2-ball shot in rack 3 goes to show you that when the pressure's on, it makes you think weird things. Now, I was able to shoot it after the fact, but I was fully expecting it to go into the 15. And if I'm in a game where I'm expecting that, I'm gonna have to look back at the camera. I don't know how close I got to the 15. It might have been just so far away it didn't really matter. But if I'm in a match or a pressure situation, I don't want to take chances like that where I could go into the 15 and screw up everything. Now, granted, I could have gone into the 15 and still gotten okay, hit it on the correct side of the ball. This probably are my right, your left, and still had it float up for the 5. But I could have also just hit dead into it and left myself right on the rail. And then the run is, infinitely harder, even harder than that 2-ball cut that I somehow pulled off. But I think it's a good example to show what happens in real life. Go with your gut, because if you're in a pressure situation, you choose the wrong shot, you're gonna be kicking yourself afterwards. So I'm glad it turned out the way it did. I would have played things differently, obviously knowing what I know now. But that said, let's get on to rack 4. Now, I didn't get the pop at all. Trying to figure out this break here. So I got the pop, but the cue ball went a little bit to the right. Made 2 balls, got the 1 over this thing. Lost the cue ball a bit, which is gonna happen when it goes on the side rail, but at least it didn't scratch, because that happens a lot. Now, looking at the rack here, get this template out of the way. What did I make, 2 stripes maybe? No, 1 of each. So everything goes. 8-ball doesn't really have any blockers. It goes clean. Well, it does not go clean past the 13. 13 is a little bit difficult to get on. The 3 to the 5 is hard to get on because the 4 is kind of the only ball to use to get to the 3, unless we play one of these and come around. From this side, the 14 looks kind of goofy, although it isn't too bad. The 11 looks okay, the 10 looks okay. I think I like stripes here. The issue's gonna be getting on that 13. Now, if I'm center table, I can make a 13 miss the 5 and come around, I think. I think I need to be a little bit more this way to miss the 5 completely. Going off the 9, I could tag the 5 right now, not on purpose. I may not have a choice though. So if I take the 5, the run is almost gonna be over with. But if I'm looking at solids, the only shot I have is this 6-ball. Cue ball is gonna go into the 1, it's gonna send the 1 kind of here, and it could go right through these and come out perfect, but it also could get tied up there. Those are the only 2 shots I have. I have the 7 in the corner, but I'm not even considering that because that's almost worse. I could scratch off the 1 from the 7. So I'm gonna take the 9 and I'm gonna see what I can do here. See if I can get around the 5. And ideally, I'm gonna get somewhere this area or out, either the 10 or the 12 on the side, possibly the 13. This is gonna be upper right. The top is mostly to force the cue ball to the rail past the 5. The right is to spin it around. And now I'm talking too much, I gotta stand up again. Yeah, that was a concern. Do I have a shot? Kind of, not really. That was a very big issue with that rack. And I said in the opening, I'm looking to play these to win. There was really no safety here. Every ball is, I think the safety play is more gonna come in the 2nd ball break that I do. And I'm gonna do those with the triangle to even make more kind of messed up racks to show how to get out of those situations. So here the big question is, can I avoid the 5 on the way out? If I hit the 5 on the way in, that's okay. I wanna make sure I don't hit the rail and then hit the 5 on the way out because I'm gonna leave myself stuck. I would love to hit this with a lot of inside spin, which is left, but the 12 is covering that entire side of the cue ball. So I think I'm gonna hit the 5 on the left side of it, or your right side of it. Hit it over there and then send the cue ball this way. Need to put some pace on this, because if that happens, I wanna try to clear the 3 and the 8. I can put a little bit of left spin on it. Yep, and that's what happens. Was more worried about the 5. I mean, I didn't have a great shot anyway. I was more worried about the 5 than I was the 13. Now the big question is, can my opponent get out from here? The 3 is now blocked. The 4 is kind of messed up now with the 12. It's harder to get on the 1 and the 6. So I'm gonna give it a try. I'm just gonna say this is my opponent's turn now to see if I can get out and kind of show you what happens in situations and what I'm thinking. There is no safe for solids here because the 13 is just sitting right in the pocket, unless I could somehow make the 13, so I should take that back. If I were to play the 3 into the 13, try to leave the cue ball behind the 8, that would be a decent safety, but the 3 is not on. It's a cut into the 13, and getting back on the 8 without it leaking out for the 10 is tough. I'm gonna take this 5 ball, and a lot of you will say, well, no, don't take the 5 ball because you wanna block the pocket. What are we blocking it from? Seriously, what ball is going in this corner pocket other than maybe the 8? But that's after your opponent makes 5 balls that are all tied up. So I don't have a problem taking this right now. I'm gonna try to get out here somewhere for either the 3 if I have a good angle or the 7, and the 7 may make things happen here. So I got too far for the 3. I can still take it, but I got really good on the 7, I think. With a stop shot, I can play either the 6 or the 4 because it's gonna come out, it's gonna drift a little bit towards the 6, so I may be able to get in there for the 4. But I'm wondering if I should take the 3 just to get out of the way, because I'm kind of having to bridge behind the 3, and now I have a much longer bridge. I do have a little bit of cut on the 7 going, so the cue ball is going towards the 6. So I'm gonna do this and try to get a better angle on the 7. Ideal angle, let's look at that. Ideal angle is right here. So I'm gonna come 2 rails out, here, here, out somewhere about here. This shot is going to be top and left spin, which is outside. This is a bread and butter shot for any player looking to take it to the next level. That's gonna look pretty good. And I got a little bit off the angle that I put down, but I should have said that I need to be on this side of that pocket line, because then I can, if I'm on this side, so the pocket line is basically here. I'm just gonna lay my cue down. If I'm on this side of the pocket line, I need to look at this, so apologies for my back to the camera. If I'm on this side of the pocket line over here, cue ball is drifting this way into the 6. But if I'm in this side of the pocket line, it goes into the rail, and I can either play it in the rail, off. I can do a lot of other things. So let's try not to mess this up. I would like to leave myself 4. 1 just barely goes. If the 1 went, I'd want to bring it back for the 1. I'm just basically going to just play a stop shot here and go for the 6 next. And I'll also evaluate where the 4 is. What I'd really like is for the 4 not to be there or the 1 not to be there, and just play one of them in the side. Since I cannot do that, I gotta figure out where I can get to on the 1 to be able to still get a shot in the 6. So here, about here is the line I want to be. That way I can make the 1 on the side and then play the 4. I need an angle on the 4 that I get to the 8. I'm gonna look at that in a ball or 2. So I'm gonna try to get basically first, if I can bounce right off the first diamond and out. I don't wanna hit it too hard that I go behind the 11. Kind of underhit that, but now I actually have a straight in angle on the 4. I mean, not straight in, it's a little bit of an angle. So there's 2 ways I can play this. I can play a stop shot, in which case it's gonna come out to maybe here. And when I say stop shot, I don't mean stopping the ball, I mean playing a low ball to have the spin stop at the 4 ball and then it kind of drifts over. The issue with the stop shot is I could land here, in which case cueing is gonna be difficult over the 12. So what I think I can do is I can play top, bump the 12, which is something you normally don't wanna do in 8-ball or any pool. But this, I'm bumping it to kind of move it out of my way and as a stopper for my next shot. And I missed it, and that will happen. I was focused on making the 4, but I missed the 12 ball, and now I'm dead. So now there is no shot here. So what do you do if there's no shot? I cannot hit the left side of this one. I cannot bank it because of that ball. So what do? What can I do? In fact, yeah, I probably could try to bank it if the 13 wasn't there. If I had a little bit more, I could try to play off the left side of the 1 as we're looking at it and try to go this way. As it is, I have to go off the right side of the 1. So what I want to try to do, this is trying to do a lot. But this is desperation mode right here because we're going to probably lose this rack. If I could leave the cue ball here, I don't leave a great shot for my opponent. I'm putting myself in what we call 1-ball hell, which means my opponent can play a great safe on me. But at this point, I'm in survival mode. So I'm gonna play the 1, I'm gonna try to clear, I'm gonna try to play a 1 rail up here, clear the 11, put it out in the open so it's harder to play safe on me. And the cue ball is gonna go to the left rail, to the bottom rail, and towards the 11. This is gonna be low with a little bit of inside spin. And I did not cut the ball off, but I did do this. All right, opponent has an open shot. We're gonna call this rack done. We're gonna say that Stripes basically lost the game because of the misplaced on the 13. I shouldn't say that. We'll just say for this rack, it was not a break and run or a take and run, and we'll go from there. But these are standard situations that happen in pool. So let's go to the last rack for the head ball break. All right, rack 5. Thinking it over more, rack 4 was kind of a big mess, that first ball. And you'll get into situations like that where it seems like, oh, I just screwed that up because I missed the first ball. I mean, I made the 9, but then I hit the 5 and got screwed up there. I think that could have gone either way, depending on the skill level of the opponent. If you're playing me, you would have won as Stripes, but you would have also lost because you're playing me. So I guess I win either way. Let's go to the last break for the head ball. Now, I haven't hit this break good at all in all 5 of these breaks. I mean, the first, I made a couple balls on it, but I don't feel like I hit it the way I'm trying to hit it. Let's put some little more focus into this break. Didn't like that either. Didn't get the pop. The 5 is gonna go. Look where the 8-ball is. Now, in every league I play in, 8-ball on the break is not a win. Actually, I don't even play in any leagues anymore, but every tournament I play in, the 8-ball on the break is not a win. So I'm not really concerned about that as much, but we have some interesting clusters and messes up here that we have to deal with. This is actually a pretty good rack for teaching, as they say. So the first thought is that the 11 is the biggest mess on the table. It's almost a combo, but it's not. So now I need to figure out a way. Now the 8 does go from here. If I get on the 6, a stop shot, 8 can go. But I need to not mess up the 8 with the 4 ball. So I would need to get straight in on the 4, which is this line, which, as you can see, does not leave me enough room, not leave me a lot of room for navigation. And then we have the problem with the 7 and the 3 down here. So let's look at stripes. Because even though the 11 doesn't go, both the 12 and the 10 can be used to break out the 11. In fact, right now, looks like a pretty good time to break the 11 out with the 10. Now, do I have a shot after that if I play that? And it does not look like I do. So if the 10, and this is something you have to watch out for in 8-ball as well. As I call them insurance balls, they call backup balls, whatever. Cue ball is gonna, I hit the 8 pretty solid here, but the cue ball is still probably gonna go this way. And unless it comes out for the 14, but even if if the cue ball is right here on the 14, that's not a great shot. It's okay on the 11 from here. I wouldn't have anything on the 13 because of the 4. I still think it might be the shot to go for. If the 3 wasn't here, I would take the 12 first and then get a better angle on the 10. But the 3 is kind of blocking that. As it is, the 3 is kind of blocking my, you know what, it isn't. So yeah, the shot is the 8. Break the 10 out. I'm gonna put straight top, a little touch, and I'm talking half to a quarter tip of left. Oh, what do you know, the 11 went. So I do have the 14, it's not a bad shot. The problem is what I really wanted is I wanted the 14 from this angle so that I could play the 15 and then get on the 9, because the 9 is gonna be the hardest ball to get on for stripes. It does go in both pockets if I'm shoot this window or way over here, so I should be able to deal with it later. The 8 is still an issue, but with the 13 there, I can use that. If I get straight on the 13, I can play a stop shot, and the 8's right there. So we're talking key balls, the 13 is it. To get on the 13, I probably have to use the 12, and it's hard to get straight on the 13 with the 1 there. So just talk myself out of almost every shot. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to play the 14, I'm gonna try to leave myself for the 9, and you're probably wondering, Adam, how are you gonna do that? Because I am on the wrong side of the pocket line for the 14. The cue ball is gonna be going this way. I do not wanna go into the 9. I cannot hold it for the 15 without doing something truly magical, which I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna try to stun over there, here. I could get the 15. 15 does go in this corner, barely. Or I could get the 12. Or I could even get the 13, even though we talked about it being the key ball. This is gonna be a little more effort than a stop shot, but more stun than draw. And I think I got the 9 now. Oh, that is close. That is really close. Chalk some more in. I think if I spin it a lot, I can spin around the 7 a little bit to get the 9. So I think I have to go for it since I'm here. If I play the 15 now, the cue ball's coming this way. If I play the 12, I have no real good way to get back on the 15 because the 12 is almost straight in. I would have to go 12, 13 to get back on the 15. I've already surprised myself once with that 11 ball, so I'm gonna surprise myself again with this 9. I'm playing this with top left and just aiming for the edge of the 7. Yeah, and fouling. Should call it the 9 bank. So I'm gonna chalk that up as a loss. Any player at this level with ball in hand should be able to either get out or put me on a really good safety here. The only question really is the 2 ball, which does go. So you play ball in hand. I would take the 2 ball first, either come through here and break out the 13-4, or come around, get the 1-6. In fact, even better is probably going 4-ball follow through. So yeah, 4-ball here, 2-ball here, can kind of play that kind of shot, assuming the 2-ball goes in. And then we have the 7, the 6, or the 1. The only issue is getting on that 3-ball, which does not go over there. So that might be a little bit of an issue with the 8 wide open. I'm just gonna chalk that up to a loss. That's what happens sometimes. Let's go on to the 2nd ball break. Hey friends, Future Adam here. I don't know why I did that. That maybe made it look like it was from the future or something. I originally recorded this whole video in one shot, and it was actually over 3 hours of footage that I shrunk down to just over 2 hours with some mistakes and breaks and all sorts of stuff in there. I decided that was too long for one video, so I decided to split these up into 2 videos. What you just saw was the first 5 racks of the headball break. I'm going to then split that up into a second video. I'll probably post them at the same time because I want to get the links from both videos in both videos. The next video is going to be the 2nd ball break. Stay tuned for that. It is in a separate video. Be sure to like and comment, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff, and make sure you don't miss that. So until the second video, we'll see you soon.